What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And today it's the time of year where, of course, we destroy these mechs. And of course, we're going to be comparing these three mechs. But this year is probably going to be the most different out of all of the years that out of all the mechs that I've ever reviewed. Because of course we have our first mech on a vehicle, which is of course going to be Ghost Rider right here. And yeah, so of course we're going to set some ground rules right now because, of course, Ghost Rider is going to be in here, but, of course, he's probably going to have the short end of the stick because of the bike that you have to build with him. So, technically, these three are versing, and then, of course, we'll also throw Ghost Rider in here as well because he's still a mech. Of course, I'll bring him in here for you guys. He's still a mech. It's much more harder because he does go on a bike, which is pretty hard. But, of course, we will fit in his bike in here somehow. But, yeah, without further ado, we're going to take a look at the categories, which, of course, I've already laid out on my paper over here. We're going to be taking a look at the figures, prints, durability, and then the final. No posability this time because, of course, that just seems a bit silly doing every time. Because, of course, as we all know, the people with the fat feet, of course, are much more posable than the skinny feet, so that won't really count. So, of course, we're going to start off with the figures first, and then we're going to go to the prints. So, yeah, let's start off with the figures. So, here are the four figures. Technically, Ghost Rider doesn't count. We're going to take a look at him in a minute, but we're going to take a look at the big three right here, which are just the normal figures. And this, of course, both of these figures do not have leg printing, but of course Rocket is the first figure that does have short legs, but of course he doesn't come with a tail in the set, which that will affect him a little bit on this ranking. But in my personal opinion, the best figure is Hulk, and I know that you guys are probably not going to agree with me, but of course he has dual molded legs, which is really nice, and Thanos of course has no excuse not to have any leg printing. And of course, on the mech itself, it literally shows some black and gold boots, which, why couldn't they given us that? This figure probably would have been much more higher on the list. And also, he doesn't have a helmet, which just kind of places him not in a good spot. However, Hulk does have some nice torso printing and some dual molded legs that do make a return from Spidey and his amazing friends. And of course, he does have a nice alternate expression. Now, Rocket, on the other hand, does look really cool. However, the head is making a return. Kind of wish that the goggles weren't on top. However, he doesn't come with a tail, so that also does affect him. So yeah, of course, the best figure out of these three is, of course, the Hulk. But it is kind of a draw between Rocket and Thanos. Personally, in my personal opinion, Rocket kind of beats Thanos just by a little bit. But it's really hard because both of them don't have something. But in my personal opinion, I am going to give the point to, I'm going to give second place to Thanos, because of course he just has more to him that Rocket doesn't have. Of course, sure, he doesn't have any leg printing, but as well as Rocket without the tail. It's very difficult for these two. It's kind of a draw, really. So I'm going to give the point to Rocket just because he has more going on. Even though he doesn't have the tail, I still think that he's still a good figure. And, of course, there's more printing on him. And, of course, we'll give third place to Thanos. So Hulk, of course, gets 5 points. Rocket gets 4 points. And Thanos gets 3 points. However, we can't stop there because, of course, we still do have Ghost Rider over here. Now, Ghost Rider is really good. He has a new molded piece. So once again, it's really hard because he kind of doesn't count for these because he's just, if you could focus on the front right here, that'd be amazing. But yeah, it's really hard because he just has so much stuff going on with him and stuff like that. The head and stuff is really good. It's just, I don't know where to place him. But I will put him at second place just because he actually just looks much better than Rocket. Even though he doesn't have any leg printing again, that new molded piece on top, the flame, just looks really cool. And I'm just much more of a bigger fan of Ghost Rider than Rocket, because of course he actually looks much cooler and really exclusive piece, and it comes with his chain, which is really nice. And there's really nothing missing on this figure other than leg printing, but that you of course can get past that. Of course, Thanos, he doesn't have the helmet, and Rocket doesn't have the tail, so that kind of limits that. So of course, Hulk gets 5 points, Ghost Rider gets 4 points, Thanos gets 2 points, and Rocket gets 3 points. So yeah. So those are going to be the minifigures. Of course, this time I'm not going to do the accessories because they really don't have any accessories. Ghost Rider has a chain and he has a gun, but Thanos doesn't get a mini Infinity Gauntlet, and Hulk doesn't get anything. So that's going to be it for the minifigures. Of course, Ghost Rider is in second place right now. Hulk is in first. So yeah, without further ado, now we're going to take a look at the mechs. So here are the 4 mechs. And of course, the next category is prints. So, of course, all 4 of these guys do have a print. However, Ghost Rider does not have one on his chest. His is actually on the bike. So, yeah, he's kind of going to get deducted a couple points here because it's not on the actual figure. But we'll take a look at Thanos first. Of course, he has a print right on the front. And that's kind of the only print that he has. Of course, Hulk also does have a print on his front as well. Which is of course going to be this print right here. It does look pretty cool and does kind of fit the Hulk a little bit. Of course, Rocket has one as well. His is on here at the front, which all of these prints really do look really nice. But of course, there has to be one definitive winner. So for this one, I am going to give Thanos a point just because I'm going to give him first place because he just has a really cool design on it, and it makes sense for him. Of course, second place I'm going to give it to Rocket just because his also looks really nice and kind of captures the front of his torso a little bit. I kind of just like Thanos' a bit more. Hulk is going to get third place because of course this is just a radioactive symbol. It works all right. They couldn't do anything good. But I just want to kind of give Thanos a point because I think he's going to lose a bit hard in the next ones. And Ghost Rider, you can't really compare him against these guys because he doesn't really have a print. It would have been nice to maybe get like a zipper or something right here. But his chain actually wraps around his whole thing. And actually accessories, Rockets does go on the side of the arm, which is really nice. So that's nice of them to do. But of course, I'm going to give Ghost Rider the last place. So right here, if you guys want to see the placing, so Thanos gets first place this round, which he gets more. So yeah, Thanos gets first place, so he gets all 5 points. Rocket gets 4 points, Hulk gets 3 points, and Ghost Rider gets 2 points. So yeah, but it's once again, it's really hard to compare Ghost Rider to this. So Ghost Rider is kind of in a negative zone right now. Because of course his is actually on the bike, which his print that is on the bike works really well. And I love the print on the front of the bike. It looks really awesome. And I don't really know what to do. So yeah, of course Ghost Rider will get last place this round. But who knows for the second one. So yeah, of course, the next one is going to be Styles. I'm adding this one freely in here because it just kind of makes sense. The builds of these guys are pretty similar. They all use the same parts that they did. They all use new parts. So the hips are brand new. The legs and arms are brand new. So the articulation is mostly the same for all of them, which is basically the legs move, the fingers move, the hip rotates, and the arms move up and down. That's kind of all the of course, the feet also pivot. But that's kind of all the articulation you get. However, Thanos does get a little bit more with the hand, just kind of is on a ball joint. Also, his accessory is also really cool, which is really awesome. Hulk's fingers are kind of alright. Hulk also kind of gets an accessory. He gets like a little bar piece. And Rocket gets a little minigun, which makes sense for him. So, of course, the thing that's eyeballing me the most is probably Thanos. I mean, I don't really like this guy that much, but of course he does have this awesome big giant double-bladed sword, so he does actually look really cool with it. Rocket has the minigun, and Hulk kind of has this. it's kind of a draw between these guys. You can't really rate them that much on their accessories. Of course, Ghost Rider doesn't get an accessory. His is the bike, but he just has the chain that's on the side and doesn't really come with a physical chain. I think that would have been cool maybe to give him, but yeah, of course, also, Rocket does have a tail, which is really cool. So for this round, I'm actually going to give Rocket first place for aesthetics. Of course, Thanos will get second place and Hulk will get third, just because I think they look cooler. So of course, Rocket gets 5 points this. Rocket gets 5 points this round. Thanos gets 4 points. Hulk gets 3 points, and Ghost Rider gets 2 points because he doesn't really have an accessory with him. And of course, now we're going to be doing the best part, which is of course going to be the durability tests. So the durability test, of course, right now we have the most durable. We have the Hulk. And this basically is I drop it and slam it on the table as hard as I can, and this time I'm not actually going nice on these guys. Since this is more built and there aren't that many ball joints, I really don't expect that many pieces to fly off other than the fingers and maybe his accessory. But of course I will be doing the drop tests, which of course I do have enough room right now, so it's not cramped. So without further ado, I'm going to be dropping it. So 3, 2, 1. Here we go. And like I said, these mechs this year are really durable. So of course I will be slamming it on the ground. So yeah, without further ado, 3, 2, 1. So of course I was able to put it back together, but it is still not put back together. Of course the gray piece up here is somewhere in my collection. I really do not know. Anyway, of course this Hulk figure was really hard to put back together. There was a lot of pieces that I had to get out of my own collection to finish this review. The fingers especially were really hard to put back on. But of course, Hulk, I really don't know yet. That was a really hard one. And I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do it for all the other ones, because that was ridiculously hard to put that guy back together. So yeah, that is going to be Hulk. Of course, we're going to go on to the next one to see who wins. So next up for the durability test, we're going to be doing Rocket Raccoon. Now, the Hulk one was really bad, so hopefully this one isn't as bad. So yeah, without further ado, we're just going to do a normal drop test right now, and then we're going to slam it down. So without further ado, 3, 2, 1. And of course, dropping him down, he just loses his tail and his arm. So I am a bit nervous now to see what's going to happen. But without further ado, let's drop him in 3, 2, 1. So yeah, so far, Rocket wins the durability tests. Not that much has happened, and of course, just his legs and his arm popped off, which is really surprising compared to the Hulk. But of course, now we have the final one, which is of course going to be the Thanos mech. So yeah, let's check that out. So here is the Thanos mech. Of course, we're going to be doing a slam down and just a drop. So just dropping from as tall as my light is, just dropping him. Very durable, as you guys can see. But now we have the best part, which is the throwdown. So without further ado, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So yeah, Thanos is the one that had it the most rough out of all of them, and I feel like is the, I don't know, the loser. I don't really know, because of course, as you guys can see on the top right here, I cannot find for the life of me the second gold piece. And I think they flew off in this direction, but I really cannot find them. I've literally looked forever. And if I find it later in the video or something, then I'll put it on. Of course, I did actually find a piece of the Hulk's mech, the top of the rock. So Hulk is complete, but yeah. Just so far, I feel like Thanos is probably the one that is probably going to get destroyed the most, also because of the Infinity Gauntlet. So in my personal opinion, he's placed in last place. So without further ado, now we're going to drop the last character, which is Ghost Rider. So Ghost Rider really has been cut out really from this whole video, because of course we haven't really talked about his motorcycle that he has, which he will get his own section soon. But yeah, so of course for the durability, we're just going to be dropping from this side. So without further ado, 3, 2, 1. And of course he didn't break. I didn't really drop him that hard. But now we're going to do the smash down. So 3, 2, 1, here we go. So Ghost Rider kind of succeeded at the drop test. Of course, him like Rocket. Of course, Rocket does is in a better place. But we can't drop Ghost Rider without dropping his. So yeah, as you guys saw there, the Ghost Rider bike is very durable. This thing is filled with Technic. There is barely any issues with it. The only thing that's kind of connecting this whole thing together really that is breakable is down here, as you guys can see. But when I dropped this, and I had to drop it 2 times because the first time was a fail, the second time and the first time there were barely any things that broke off. And Ghost Rider, literally nothing fell off, only some things like the chain when it was on the bike. And that's really surprising. So, of course, for durability, I do have to award all the points to Ghost Rider. So Ghost Rider is in first place. Rocket, I'm going to put in second place because his was really good. So, of course, Ghost Rider gets all 5 points for the durability. Even if some pieces fell off with the bike as well, it's a clear winner. Of course, Rocket gets second place, so he gets 4 points. Thanos, I'm going to have to give it to Thanos for third place. His was pretty good, even though, yes, I still have not found that second gold piece on his neck. Even though that piece fell off, it still doesn't count. It still counts as he's the clear winner. And of course, last place for 2 points is Hulk, because of course, as you guys saw, it was a dramatic fail. And one of the hardest things was getting all those pieces back, and I was able to get all of them. But yeah, so of course, that means that we're going to be talking about the final thing, which is of course going to be the winners. So, overall, the best mech is Rocket coming out with 16 points, Thanos coming out with 14 points, and Hulk coming out with 13 points. Now, of course, I also did include Ghost Rider in this. He also got 13 points, but I'm going to add another 4 more points to the aesthetics for Ghost Rider, because we didn't really talk about Ghost Rider, because of course if we're moving Thanos guys out of here, Ghost Rider is probably, if not the best one of the best mechs. And the reason is because of his really cool bike. The bike is really awesome and probably one of the best parts about the Ghost Rider figure. So, if we're being honest, right now, even though I gave him 2 points for the prints and 2 points for the aesthetics, I didn't really include his bike in here that much. And of course, his bike, clearly everything makes sense with this. And there's really nothing to complain about this mech. And so, in my personal opinion, and so of course adding 4 more points to aesthetic, Ghost Rider comes out with 17 points. Now, of course, Hulk is not the best mech, and he didn't win at all. He got 13 points compared to everybody else, which makes sense. He really didn't have a good of a chance at winning, and I really kind of didn't like his mech that much, really. The Rocket one makes sense. He's a cool mech. It's really awesome. It looks really cool. And the Thanos mech as well, besides that gold piece, I kind of might just minus 1 piece for 1 point for that. But overall, tell me in the comments below what mech is your favorite and which one you guys want to pick up. But yeah, that was the mechs for 2022. I don't think Marvel's gonna come out with any more of them. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the mechs for 2022. Hopefully you guys like it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Peace out and bye.